When the ground moves, most people feel only a few seconds of confusion. But beneath our feet is a system that never stops shifting. In this program, we explore real-life earthquake moments captured on camera. These recordings show what it looks like when an urban area, a coastline, or a quiet town experiences sudden ground movement. There are no animations or effects, only the recorded experience of people who happen to be filming at the right moment. Together, we will look at what is happening in these scenes, why earthquakes occur, and what they reveal about the world beneath us. To understand these clips, it helps to know how earthquakes form. The surface of the planet is divided into large sections of crust, known as tectonic plates. These plates move only a few centimeters each year, but the forces involved are large. When two plates press, pull, or slide against each other, stress builds over time. Eventually, that stress becomes stronger than the friction holding the plates in place. When the plates shift suddenly, energy is released. This energy travels through the ground as seismic waves. The moment when the plates slip is called the rupture. The point on the surface above it is known as the epicenter. Earthquakes are measured using the moment magnitude scale, which estimates the total amount of energy released. Most earthquakes are small, many are not even felt. But when a larger event takes place, daily life can shift in seconds. Modern cameras placed in homes, offices, and public spaces give us a direct view of how that shift feels. Our first example shows an indoor setting. Camera fixed on a shelf records a simple living room. The first sign of motion is a light rattle. Picture frames move, small objects slide across a table, hanging lights sway. What we see here is the arrival of seismic waves. The first waves to arrive are called primary waves, or P waves. They travel quickly and cause a brief, sharp motion. Next come secondary waves, or S waves. They travel more slowly, but create stronger shaking. The shift from light rattling to deeper movement reflects the transition from P waves to S waves. In this scene, nothing collapses. But the motion shows how energy from deep below travels all the way to the surface and through a structure. The second example comes from an office tower. A security camera shows desks, monitors, and ceiling panels. The first motion is vibration. Monitors wobble. Lights move slightly. Some ceiling tiles lift and settle again. Tall buildings are designed to sway during seismic events. Flexibility helps them absorb seismic energy instead of resisting it rigidly. What looks like instability is actually an intentional feature of the structure. As the shaking continues, people move to stable positions. This footage highlights a common point. Injuries often come from falling objects rather than from the ground opening or a building collapsing. The images here help clarify that idea. Next, we move outdoors. A street-level camera records a coastal city during midday traffic. The shaking begins subtly. Parked cars bounce on their suspensions, utility poles sway. The pavement seems to shift like a slow wave. What the camera captures is not the ground bending dramatically, but small vertical and horizontal movements happening across a wide area. Because everything in view is moving together, the motion appears larger than it is. People on the street struggle to keep their balance. They pause, brace themselves, or crouch for stability. This clip also shows how long shaking can last. Some earthquakes last only a few seconds. Others continue for a minute or more. Another clip comes from a hillside trail recorded by a hiker. The camera shakes as the person tries to stay upright. Dust rises from the slope. Small rocks fall and roll. Hillside environments are more vulnerable during seismic events. Even moderate shaking can loosen soil or dislodge rocks. This is an early sign of a type of ground movement often referred to as a landslide. The footage also shows how certain landscapes can amplify shaking. Loose soil, steep inclines, and fractured rock can increase motion and make slopes more unstable. The final group of clips comes from various urban surveillance cameras. They show storefront windows, streetlights, and building facades. Vibrations travel through structures. Glass panels ripple. Steel frames bend slightly and return to shape. Concrete sections show small cracks forming where stress is highest. Each material responds differently to seismic energy. Wood flexes, steel bends, glass vibrates. Concrete is strong but can crack under strain. These differences are important for engineers who study how buildings behave during earthquakes. Taken together, these recordings teach us several things. First, they show that no two earthquake experiences are alike. A moderate earthquake close to a population center can create stronger shaking in some neighborhoods than a larger earthquake farther away. Soil type, building design, and distance from the rupture all shape what people feel. The footage also helps engineers refine building codes. By studying how structures move during real events, they learn which features protect occupants and which need improvement. Designs that emphasize flexibility, reinforce joints, and secure utility connections can reduce damage. When experts update construction guidelines, it is often because real footage revealed something new. Another lesson from these clips is the value of personal preparedness. Many people are surprised by how suddenly shaking begins, but basic steps, like securing tall furniture, identifying safe spaces in a room, and keeping emergency supplies can reduce risk. The way people freeze or take cover in the footage shows that simple habits can make a difference. These recordings also make scientific concepts easier to understand. Seismic terms become clearer when viewers can see the difference between early, light shaking and later stronger movement. Visual examples help people grasp how seismic energy travels and how it interacts with buildings and landscapes. Finally, the footage reminds us that earthquakes are natural processes. Tectonic plates have been moving for millions of years. Earthquakes are part of that movement. The goal of studying them is not to stop them, but to better understand them, prepare for them, and reduce the risks they pose. The clips we reviewed offer a direct look at how the planet releases energy stored deep below the surface. These moments, brief but powerful, help us understand the connection between geological forces and daily life. By learning from real events, scientists refine their models, engineers strengthen their designs, communities improve their plans, and viewers develop a clearer sense of what happens when the ground begins to move. Earthquakes will continue as long as the planet's plates continue to shift. But the more we understand, the better prepared we become. Thank you for watching, and for joining this exploration of what happens when the Earth shakes.